But for the actual camp, I was surprised that, I say surprised, I wasn't. Sarina doesn't really change her mind very much, does she? But I would have hoped to see some different names in there, especially because they're friendlies, especially because I don't know if she had a cap on the numbers she could take for this time round, but it's against Austria and Italy. So two fairly decent teams. And I don't know, Danny, was there anyone that you would have really liked to have seen actually included in that squad? That wasn't.
Yeah, I think Nikita Paris is the obvious one you think of for what she's been doing for Man United, dragging. We talked about Mark Skidder getting out of a hole, but she's been dragging him kind of out of holes for the last few weeks now. The way she's been playing as a centre forward as well, I feel like it's worth trying at the moment, because you've got the likes of Leslie Russo and Rachel Daly who have not been on as good form as they have been. I mean, Sarina, she's very similar to Gareth Southgate in what she does in terms of her favourites. She seems to have favourites, and you've got to trust her at this point, because who wouldn't trust Sarina Wiegman at this point? But I just feel like this is a camp in particular where there's nothing coming up in the summer. You've got nothing to build towards. You've got to give a chance and try something different. And Paris in particular, she's been doing so well as that central striker that I just think it's worth bringing her in and giving it a go and seeing what happens, because she's a very different type of player to the other two. And I just think it would have been worth it for this one. This is the ideal time to do it and to try a few things.
Absolutely, yeah. And I was going to mention that Rose has beat me to it there. The under-23s are also out in Spain. And it was really nice to see. It was Naomi from Bristol City. She got a call up to train with the seniors today, which is brilliant. But you look at the youngsters in the under-23s and you think how bright the future of this English football squad is. And is there anyone that stands out to you kind of coming through? I know we've talked about kind of some of the young Sunderland players we've got and things like that, but is there anyone you're excited to see kind of in the future maybe get into the senior team?
I'll just have a look at the squad because I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, no worries.
But obviously for the under-18s, I've mentioned it before, but Poppy Pritchard's really somebody to watch. Who was at Durham this year, signed for Man City. Really, really good at tapping winger. And it was a little bit disappointed Sunderland didn't sign her a couple of years ago because she was at Sunderland's regional talent centre. But we signed Katie Watson instead. To be fair, Katie Watson's unbelievable. That's it. I'm just bringing the squad up. But to be fair, and I think Paul's mentioned this at some point in the season as well, where's Annabella Blanchard in any of these squads? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, she is absolutely smashing it in the championship this year. And I really think a lot of her. I think she's a fantastic footballer. But it seems that she always seems to miss out. Looking at the forwards in the under-23s, obviously, Aggie Beaver, Jones, Missy Goodwin, great players, but they're all from the WSL, and Annabella Blanchard's been smashing it. So would like to see her giving a go. But nice to see Molly Pike in there. Molly Pike's a really good player as well. But she's a bit of it. We mentioned shithouse before. She likes to get involved, like. Poppy Patterson, obviously, I like her. But no Niamh Heron either. I think Niamh Heron's probably good enough to get in that defence.
John's with you on that one. Thank you, Sean. Yeah, Niamh again, and like we said, it's the type of it's the time to just give these even fringe players a chance. Like the players like Maz Pacheco, for example, who was in the England youth setup, but just hasn't crossed yet to that senior level. Give her a chance, put her in. Her work rate is phenomenal, and you just think maybe bringing those players in would give maybe the core members maybe a bit of a run for their money and a bit more of a push and a bit of a your place is not signed in stone. You hopefully can be rotated out and. There's pressure on it for that one. And I really hope Kiara Keaton, Hannah Hampton, I really hope they get a chance. Because I think we've mentioned before, kind of Mary Earps, usually in like the League Cups and things like that, you put your second goalkeeper in and that kind of thing. But she's been playing the majority of them, hasn't she? So even for her, a break would be welcome, but also to show that we're not 100% reliant on her. As fantastic as she is, we've got more talent in there and we're better kind of together.
Especially in friendlies, Free, because we all know how good Mary Earps is. She's the best goalkeeper in the world, right? But Hannah Hampton's, a couple of years ago was the up and coming young goalkeeper, wasn't she? Everyone was going on about it. So she went to Chelsea now. And mentioned Kiara Keaton as well. I mean, Kiara Keaton's just rose from nothing, hasn't she? She was in the Championship last year on loan at Coventry. She got injured, Paul, didn't she? And then, and she's just been phenomenal for City. So give them a go. I would give one of them one game, one of the other, because we know how good Mary Earps is. We know how, even the likes of, I know Meadows coming back, but we know how good these players are. And the only way these young players are going to be ready for international football is by giving them international games. So especially when in friendlies like this, it always flummoxes with the men's and with the women's game why they don't just give youth a go. But again, and Rose has just mentioned in the chat there, Mia Enderby is a phenomenal talent. Yes, she is. What a footballer she is, man. Fantastic player.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think we should go out and be in charge. We'll sit with Serena and go, right, okay, these are the players that we needed.
You would not want me in charge. Look how I celebrated Sunderland's goal. I'd be like, if England scored a winner in the World Cup final, I'll be in the stands.
I did see Josh drop me in it earlier on when we were talking about players, and he said Paul's talking about conspiracy theories. I think that was when I was talking about refereeing. I have conspiracy theories about the England squad as well.
Of course you do. Yeah,
I'm full on lone gunman here. I've got all the blackboards with like all the little bits of thread linked to different things. But I think there is unspoken pressure, and I don't think Serena is bowing to it. I don't think she's the type of player who would. But I think there's an awareness in the England setup. You don't sit the golden geese, as it were. All the big names have to be in the squad. There are some players in the England squad who I think are seen as undroppable, and I think that shouldn't be the case. I think Mary Earps is probably one of those. And like you say, I'd love to see Kiara Keating play. I'd love to see Hannah Hampton play. I think the current strikers are probably another one. If you ask about under 23s, I want to see, and this is where I get to represent Coventry. There you go, Shannon. There we go. Absolutely, because I saw stats. She's got the most tackles in the WSL this season. Her, like you say, her on one side, Maz Pacheco on the other, and
what a squad!
You'd not have any hard-working pair of fullbacks. And yeah, I'm not saying they should replace Niamh Charles or Lucy Bronze or whoever in tournaments, but in friendlies, give them a chance.
Mm-hmm.
But there's possibly a slight awareness. Your casual fan doesn't turn up to see Shannon O'Brien or Maz Pacheco. Your casual fan turns up expecting to see Leslie Russo. Your casual fan turns up expecting to see Mary Earps in goal.
Yeah.
Your casual lioness, you see with the surprise from a lot of people of Kiara Keating and Grace Clinton this season turning up and everyone going, where did they come from? Anyone who watches the Championship knows where they come from.
It's like, this has been a long time coming. Yeah.
I think this is almost a coverage thing again. And there's just, hopefully we're doing our part by saying, watch the Championship because it's a effing amazing league. And it's the breeding ground of all of these players. Shannon O'Brien developed in the Championship. Beth Mead developed initially in WSL 2 with Sunderland before going up. I might have my timeline slightly wrong, but I'm sure she developed initially in WSL 2. So feel free to correct me if I'm a bit off with that one. Annabelle Blanchard, I'm glad I mentioned her. I was almost fist pumped seeing that one because she's an amazing player. And yeah, I don't even think how Nikita Paris didn't get in this squad. I mean, you saw some of the journalists, and I think there is a bit of a contribution in it because because journalists have to be careful, but they're saying things like, "Oh, you can't really make a case for dropping anyone in the squad." I can make a case for dropping Russo all day for a friendly. You know.
But also for a friendly, you don't have to drop everyone. Just take them, put them on the plane. You can afford it. Like, take them with you. Like,
it's like they're going to benefit from the experience as well, aren't they, of having them players around? Just like,
and especially like, as we just said there, the two friendlies. Why not just take a couple of players from the championship, just to give them that experience of going away with England? You know, it's
levels of training, levels of getting to this is where you need to be if you want to cut it with the Lioness senior squad. But might have a chance to.
We've mentioned as well, like was it the 4,000 minutes from 2,000 minutes or something? So that's extra 90, 180 minutes for some of these players. And what happens if one of them, say Lauren James, for instance, plays both games, gets injured, there's Chelsea's season done because they've already got, Sam Kerr out and, with an ACL or whatever. And if she gets injured, it's Chelsea's season done. You know what I mean? And it doesn't make sense for me. And, you know what these players are like. You know the top quality world-class footballers. But they're playing in friendlies. It doesn't make sense. It just actually doesn't make sense having friendlies at this point of the season. I think it's just stupid. But that's for both sides. That's for the men's side and the women's side. You get them all out the way at the start. Yeah.
Do you guys think there's too much emphasis on the international game in terms of English football marketing as well? There's almost, and FIFA in general. There's almost. The club game drives the international game. The club game drives everything. And like you say, Anne, if Lauren James gets injured at a meaningless friendly, there's going to be many, many people around the world. I'd imagine Emma Hayes will probably have an opinion.
Yeah.
Well, Emma Hayes said as well, though, didn't she? She was like, the injuries that the players are getting are between international breaks. And it's because of the traveling. When you look at the Australian team, the miles they put in, and then the actual different workloads, the different, recovery, just everything is so different, and it needs streamlining. And that's that massive issue because me officials just done a ACL, and you just think, what more does it take? What does it need to happen for just more to go into it? Because I know some people are looking into it, aren't they? Like what they can help. But you think Emma Hayes is so on it, and she's been talking about this for years. And it's finally happened to two of her Chelsea players in quite quick succession. And you just think, what is the future women's football going to look like? And again, I think it was Leah Williamson. It was someone like that who said, well, actually, there's going to be no future in women's football because everyone's going to be injured.
Everyone's going to be knackered, yeah. I think Jenna Deere hit the nail on the head for him on Monday, on the Championship television program that was on the FA Player. That you look at both leagues as well. Like in the Championship, we've got obviously the big promotion push, the relegation push. And even in WSL, the title race has been blown wide open, and now we have to wait another 2 weeks to watch it again. It's so exciting at the minute. We had such an exciting week just gone in both divisions, and now we're going to wait another 2 weeks, and it just doesn't make sense to me. It really doesn't.
I think the England game, it seems to have just been shoehorned in because of the Nations League, doesn't it? Like that was probably the plan to get into the Nations League semi-finals and to be involved in that at this time. And it feels like because we're not in that, we've got to have some sort of international break and play these games. But ideal world we're in that, and it's competitive and it means something. But at the moment, I think you've got to look at these two games and think you've got to use it to try players out. Otherwise, it feels pointless. Like Jess Park, I want to see Jess Park play a part. I want to see Grace Clinton get some minutes. Otherwise, you're just seeing this the same old routine. You're not learning anything, are you?
And that's the thing, if you're just doing the same thing again and again and again, it's a bit like Blackadder goes fourth, isn't it? Oh, something again, because they won't expect it.
It's the first time Blackadder goes fourth that probably ever has been mentioned, never will be mentioned in a football podcast. Really enjoyed that.
Watching, I can come out with some corkers.
I can get some obscure references in. If you want pop culture references.
I think we should have a game of bingo ourselves, shouldn't we? Right, what can we mention?
What can we sneak in? I've got Jumanji in there twice today.
Yeah.
Yes, double Jumanji. Well, with I was having a look at our stats, Lioness' stats against Austria and Italy. We have won, I think, all matches against Austria previously, but especially the last 5, we definitely have, all quite high score lines. And against Italy, we've won 3 out of our last 5. So if we play like we have been playing, especially that last game against Scotland where we really went for it, I think, again, it's a friendly, so fingers crossed, they don't go too far and get injured. But I think we've got we've got a good chance of coming out with hopefully some really good connections, really strong connections to take us into the next lot of internationals. But yeah, do we think we're going to do all right in the end against Austria and Italy? Anyone?
Probably. I don't really care. But yeah, they'll be all right, won't they? I'd imagine 2 wins.
Yeah, I've got my Martina Piemonte shirt ready to put on. I love that Italian away kit. It's absolutely beautiful with the marble on it.